to do that song because I think it epitomizes our journey when we have to realize that where we are may not be where we want to be, may not be our ideal, but dang it, we're getting there. You know, to just realize that every breath we take and every step is going to take us into something real as we hold our focus. And that's kind of what we've been working on all month, self-focus, to become aware of self. And do you find the things that we've been working on helpful? I know you take every word etched in stone in your mind. And those erasers are put away. No, I know you erase. And rewrite it so that you understand it. But that's great. That's individual truth. So reminder time. Our first Sunday in May, we talked about our goals. Then we spoke of intuition. Then we spoke of attitude. And today we're going to talk about action. Action in a way that may be different than what you would conceive action to be. Because everything that we've talked about so far is an action-oriented concept, is it not? Taking action on all of these lines. But the whole idea is to become awake to life. All right? So, Spirit has given us great opportunities and great new approaches to seeing what we are doing. If we see what we are doing, we can change it. Doing is the operative word. We see, we choose, and then we can do. A lot of times we walk around not seeing, and then we wonder why things are happening. Why is this happening to me? And if you're in that space, how much change can occur in your life? Not a lot. And most of the times when you get to the point where you're saying, why is this happening to me? Could you have hopped off that road earlier? Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably. So it's all about staying awake to our choices. I wanted to open us up with a reading from Jesus, Teacher, Healer. Jesus, Teacher, Healer. I read this book in 1994. As a little girl, however, I was aware of Edgar Cayce. You know, you all know Edgar Cayce, the Sleeping Prophet. And I knew as a little girl in elementary school that Edgar Cayce had a very difficult time learning as a young man. But he could sleep on a book and know every single word on every single page when he woke up. So when I read this book in 1994, I have slept on it ever since. It is under my pillowcase, and that's where it lives. Now, I can't say that I've got every single word in my mind, but I sure am working on it. So I wanted to start with something that gets us back to the ground zero. Ready? Okay. When you were breathed forth from Creator, the divine seed was planted in your soul. And it is expected that you will, in the course of life's experiences in many incarnations, develop and unfold the rose of the Christ life. This can only be done by love, by the soul learning to love God in all God's creations. But this lesson, dear brethren, must be learned while the soul is manifesting through physical matter. The physical plane is your school. Never be eager to get away from your physical life. Guard it. Protect your body. Make your body healthy and strong. And pray that you live long in the land of the physical world, because it is in this state of life that the soul expands and grows in wisdom and love. Oh, does everybody remember raising your wee hand when God said, who wants to go forth and learn in the school of earth? And everyone's little hand went in the air. Put me in, Coach, put me in. Yep. I saw you do it, Bonnie. So, our goal is to unfold the beautiful Christ within, and this is done through love. Through love. All right. So, the goal is to express the love of God here. And when we look at ourselves, how do we measure ourselves? As metaphysicians, I would hope that we say very simply, as I'm measuring myself, am I connected or am I disconnected? What if I asked myself that every moment? Would myself understand what the heck I'm talking about? Am I connected or disconnected? Am I connected to the divine, or am I roaming around in my own world? And as a metaphysician, we want to be connected, yes? Yes. And And our human self, where do we find our value? Whether we're connected or disconnected? Probably not. Probably not. Our value can still be on the finances, still on the stuff, still on our relationships, and still on security on the earth plane. Do you see the two different focal points? And do you not have them both? I'm secure in the earth plane because I've got checkbook, or I'm not secure because the bills are coming at me. What's happening in the outer? All right. So, we may identify with what we do for value, validation, and purpose. But that is not who we are. But we may look to what we do, who we are in the world, to validate ourselves, to find value, and to find purpose. So, we think we might be known by what we do. Does anybody come up and say, what do you do? Hey, what do you do for a living? You know what we're asking metaphysically when we ask you that? What do you do for a living? We're saying, hey, how do you share your light with the world? How do you take your light out in the world? And metaphysically, we really don't verbally refer to people by their career, metaphysically. In our church, we don't go, oh, Meredith the doctor. You guys didn't even know she was a doctor. Meredith the doctor. Cheryl the superb, fantabulous massage therapist. You know, we don't do that. We say, Meredith, her heart, her energy, choir. Cheryl, minister, love, someone you can confide in. We are looking at the energy, are we not? We look at the energy of the person, not what they do in the world. Quite frankly, I don't know what a lot of y'all do, but I know your hearts. Do you understand? All right. We refer to energy. So, if we are looking at energy being the goal of our life journey, the book didn't say, make lots of money, save mankind. It didn't say do that. It said evolve the love in Christ within you. So if we look to that, remembering our original goal, and we look to how do I truly become more aware of myself, we should then become aware of how much our energy is affecting our world and who we are on an energy level. It's very simple, right? Am I preaching to the choir? Okay. You guys already know all this. All right. So, the first thing that we have to talk about energy. Ready? Do we live in fear or do we live in love? In love, some of us.
Sometimes fear
And sometimes fear. Wednesdays are fear, Tuesdays are love. That's pretty much how it goes. If someone's bugging me, it's fear. If I can feel good about myself, it's love. But the ideal is to move into a space of love. And did you notice I did not say fear or faith? And Spirit spoke to me about that very clearly. They said, faith is the mind hoping for what the heart already knows. And we need our faith. But faith is the mind hoping for what the heart already knows. When we are in love, we already know. You see? So love has that space where we are connected with God. We're connected or disconnected. We're inner focused or outer focused. We're connected with God. That love. All right. We can all live in love. You know what I say to myself, and I have for many years. I know I live in love because I personally, Cindy Fuller, have walked through so many miracles. I know I'm fine. Even if someone says, oh no, you must be afraid this terrible thing is going to happen, I'm fine. I don't know how my relationship with this terrible thing is going to be, but I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be fine. I've seen way too much. I've seen God do way too much in my personal life, not even mentioning y'all's lives, but my personal life. I'm fine. It's all going to come around right if I stay in love. Do you see? If I go into fear, then I look at that situation and I draw it to me. What are you and who are you? I need to know more about you because you're making me afraid. What would love do? I fill you with God's love and let God handle you. And not draw it to us. Okay? All right. They said this morning. Faith is an attempt to get your mind on board with what your heart already knows. But in order to have faith that greater things can come, we have to live in love today. We do need faith, but in order to have faith that greater things can come, we need to live in love with the little things today. Does that make sense to everybody? All right. Have faith for greater and live in love with where you are. All right, there's one other thing I want to share in the Jesus Teacher Healer. This is page 111. When a highly developed soul understands spiritual science and can work in harmony with divine law, he is able to perform what you call a miracle. You wonder what this has to do with you personally. You say, we are very far from being an adept, very far from understanding the divine law which controls matter. And they said, yes, but the reason we say these things is just to open your mind to the infinite possibilities and the power which is within you. Here's the real sentence. But the God in you will only develop and bring forth, it can only be developed and brought forth through the full capacity by your own effort. So the God in you is brought forth by your effort, by your actions that you take to keep your energy love-based. Okay. Well, I'm having a lot of fun up here. I don't know if you guys already know this so deeply and that you're just going to move on, Cindy, or if I'm stunning you. But, okay, let's breathe. Take a breath. Your only job on this planet is to learn to express the love of God. Your only job on this planet is to learn to express the love of God. Be that child you were created to be and express the love of God. If that is true for you, do you think there are actions that we could take to let that occur? Actions that have nothing to do really with making money or paying bills or buying something fabulous. Just within us. All right. The God love is you. The steps you take for self are the steps that shift your energy. Let me just say that again. The steps you take for self are the steps that shift your energy. If you take a step for someone else, you are the same. You're the same. So all of us do that for other people, don't we? Well, if you want me to, I will. But you haven't changed any. You have to do this for you. Anything you change, changes you. Anything you change, changes you. How powerful is that? How powerful is that? If we looked at our energy growing God consciousness instead of making it about in the world, what could we change? Maybe we could start making it about spirit. And you know what Jesus said about matter? He said, seek first the kingdom. And then he said, and you know what? God knows you need to be fed, clothes, nice car. God knows you need love, relationship. Your Father knows you have need of these things, and they will be provided as a byproduct of living in love. If you live in love, you live in abundance. If you live in love, nothing is withheld from you. So simple, right? Okay. All right. Am I connected or disconnected? All right. Here's some action steps I want to walk you through. You guys ready? You should know everything I'm saying, but I'm reminding you for your brain. Okay? All right. You pray every day?
Yes.
You meditate every day?
Yes.
Okay. When you pray, you are opening up to connect with the divine, and you're asking for something. It's your faith is seeking to know something. That's prayer. But let me tell you how your mind works. This is what happens. You're out in the world, you're doing something, you come up against something you don't understand. You immediately take all of that information in, and you access every file you've ever built on anything that will give you information about that. You're going through your files. You're going through your past. You can't find an answer that works for you, or maybe you'll pick this here and this here and this here and this here and try it, and it doesn't work for you. That's step number one. Then you resort to prayer. Oh God, I'm in a mess. Please help me. I'm in a mess. Oh God. And the energy of God has to move down through into the consciousness that you have created and try to show you what your next step might be. Into the consciousness you have created. And if you're willing to hear directly from God, you will hear what your next step is. If not, God will have to say, this file, that file, that file, now put them all together. You know when God does that to you, you see a sign on the road, you see this, you see that, so people are talking to you, that's because you can't get the download yet at that level of consciousness. Everybody say, I know exactly what you're talking about. Okay, so that is you here raising up for prayer. Now, is that going to your heart? Did your heart know anything in this scenario? No, you're using your faith. You're using your visual capacity. Oh, please, God, help me. All right? God always reaches you where you are. That's why sometimes those great answers may not come where you are. The alternative, and that's not a bad thing, please do it. Please do it. You're going to search your files anyway. That's an automatic thing. You're going to go through your past searching your files. But please pray. But there's an alternative. It's called meditation. In meditation, if you do it daily, what are you doing with your mind? You're sitting down and you're saying, files, be still. World, let go. People who are giving me a hard time, I let you go. We actually shut down everything in the brain that would be dictating to us from the past. And then we say, God, I want to connect with you with no agenda, no reason. I want to connect with you and I want to be lifted up. And that energy that pours through you is an energy of love. It's an energy of love. Pouring through your body, an energy of love. And you can sit in it, you may get guidance in it, you may see pictures, you may just have the experience of just feeling it. And then you open your eyes, and are you connected? You are connected. And then you go out into your world, and you are connected. You go out into your world and something happens. Where does your mind go first? I'm safe. I'm in love. You go here, to the heart. Do you see the difference? And when we are meditating, are we asking God to meet us where we are? Or are we asking to be lifted up where God is? Do you see the difference? Okay. Everything affects your energy. When you do the meditation, don't you think when you walk out that door, you're shining bright? Don't you think you look lovely and beautiful and your energy is magnificent? Don't you think when you turn to God in prayer because I can't figure it out, what do you think your energy looks like? Do you think it's all constricted? Meet me where I am, God. Okay. You know? A little bitty thing. You know? It's your energy in the world. Now, which is the more prosperous space? But if you meditate for prosperity, are you meditating in love? No. Then you'll never get off the ground. But I want you to see the difference in energy. We are stewards of our energy field. All right. This is what Spirit said this morning. When you meditate, the files don't have to open. And when you get into the space where you can see with the eyes of God and see with the eyes of love, when the files do not have to open, you can truly let the past go. When you don't have to search your files for an answer. And when you meditate and you're meditated up during the day and you're walking in the world, your first reaction is, okay, Spirit, show me what to do. It's not accessing those files. When the files do not have to open, you can really let the past go. What newness can happen right here, right now? What new can happen? What new can happen? We don't know. We are here to express the love of God. If the files and the mind did not allow us to do that, let them go. Let them go. It's okay. We want to do something new and different and higher. Okay. So, I know you wanted some action steps for today about your energy field. What can I do for me? Things I choose for me help my energy be bright and love-based, loving things I choose for me. So I would advise you to choose to meditate. Metaphysical Christians. You know energy, it's about energy. I advise you to choose to meditate daily, if not more. The second thing is I would advise you to choose joy. Choose joy for you. If you don't do something every single day that you love to do, how's your energy going to be affected? You're going to start getting tight, and if you do it over a long period of time, you'll get bitter, and you'll feel, well, I don't know what I'm even mad about. There's nobody even to blame. Because you haven't done anything for you that's joyful. And it could be simple. It could be simple. You all hear me? All right. And the third thing they would ask you to do is look at your energy. Become a good steward of it. When I am in fear, I am not where I want to be. If I am in fear, I need to immediately knee-jerk back into a miracle that happened in my life. Every one of you have had them. Every one of you have had them. You know, every one of you have had millions of them, from a small little touch to a major touch. And if you haven't, we need to talk after. Because you're human. You're God's child. I would venture to say everybody in our world has felt some miracle in their life. They just don't have anybody to tell it to. They don't have anybody whose energy is shining bright enough so they can go, hey, let me tell you about my miracle. You see? All right. We will be known by our energy. Do you realize that? Whether you realize it or not, even in people who are focused on the world, they know you by your energy. Did you know that? They know you by your energy. Some of you know that last week, Patrick's sister, Susie, died. He was, had a large family, and Susie lived out on the West Coast, and he hadn't seen her since his father died, I guess, 20 years ago, probably. And so we got the phone calls that she had died last Thursday. And so Patrick's making his phone calls out to his family and chatting them, they're all, holding each other's hearts. And he's talking to Herb, is her husband, and they've been married for years, since they were young. And Herb said to Patrick, I just don't do God. I never think about God. I just don't, that's not who I am. He said, but when I started to pray for Susie, his wife, when I started to pray for Susie, Pat, it was your face that came to me. I saw your face every time. Because Patrick is the one in that family that holds the frequency of divine love. And he knew, Patrick knew. And Patrick came automatically. He was surprised to see Patrick's face. But Patrick's energy was available to everyone in his family. And Herb reached up and God said, here. And Patrick was shocked, I'm sure, when he told him that. But when the energy was needed, the energy was there. You see? So, when I was preparing this, I was remembering that little song, that little Christian song, when I was raised as a little Baptist child. They'll know we are Christians by our love, by our love. Yes, they'll know we're Christians by our love. And I thought, well, that was a sweet little song as a child, but what a true song energetically. The love, the non-judgment, the love, the trusting of God in my life, the love that I don't have to worry about your life, the love that I can just be. And I wanted to close with a scripture in the Aquarian, and this is when Jesus, it's chapter 107, so it's a little down in his work. He's been around for a long time, and he is talking to some pretty up people, authoritative people, Pharisees and whatnot. And they said, Okay, we're ready to believe in you. We're ready to believe in you. So if you can surely, as the Christ, can do more than the black magicians can do. So they can talk and hold the multitudes with power. They can heal the sick, these black magicians. They can drive the demons out of those possessed. They can control the storms, and fire and earth and air will hear and answer when they speak. Now, Jesus, hey, black magicians can do all that. That's what they labeled the people who were not working in God love, manipulative energy. Jesus said, they said to him, now, if you will ascend from that tower and fly across that sea, then we're going to believe in God. We'll believe you. And Jesus said, no magician ever lived a holy life. And you have a demonstration of the Christ life every day. And at this point, he had already resurrected, healed, taught. He'd done everything that his life, daily work would allow him to do. He'd done everything. Still the water. But they do not live a holy life. And that is all that we are being asked to do, to find our way back into our own greatness. To find our way back into our greatness is to live a life of joy, not wholly that anybody's standards are set upon you. No one's standards are on you. But to live a life of joy and brightness and love, where love and not fear is our base. When love is our base. And if love is your base, your life will be holy. Do you know that? You will be lifted back into that beautiful energy of God. All right. It's what I do as spirit that prescribes my path. And if I change myself, I change everything. It's what I do as spirit that prescribes my path. So get it easier, get it brighter, but realize your energy is you. All right, let's go within. God, I ask that a beautiful column of light come over this group. I ask that your spirit just descend and we are lifted into a space of peace. And I would ask each one of you just to feel your heart. And for a minute, just lift up into a beautiful cloud. Give it a color. Whatever color is right for you. And just feel your heart. Feel that your heart is resonating with the love of God. And just breathe in peace. Breathe in harmony. And feel love begin to move from your heart to this space. And feel connected. Father, Mother God, we ask to feel that connection with you. The connection to overflowing. And we let it move into all that we are. And then out to all the details of our lives. And God, we love you. And we are your love. And feel that love gently bring you back into your body. And I want you to feel the presence of Jesus Christ by your side. You have a way shower, a companion. Feel safe. One more deep breath. Gently open your eyes. Say, I am connected
I